I have a very special book to read with you today. It's one of my very favorite books. It's called The Great Kapok Tree, and it's by Lynn Cherry. And this is the story of the Amazon rainforest. And I like this story because it reminds us why it's so important to protect the rainforests. And it kind of reminds us about all the animals that rely on the rainforest. Oh, the first page in this book is kind of cool because it shows you the map of the world, and then it shows you where the rainforests are located. So the hottest part of the earth is right in the middle, and you can see all the rainforests are gathered right along the hottest part of the earth. So it's very hot in the rainforest. And then this part shows us the different layers of the rainforest. So the bottom layer is called the forest floor, the middle layer is called the understory, and the very top layer is called the canopy. And different animals live in different parts of the rainforest, different layers. This is the story of the Great Kapok Tree. Two men walked into a rainforest. Moments before, the forest had been alive with the sounds of squawking birds and howling monkeys. Now all was quiet as the creatures watched the two men and wondered why they had come. The larger man stopped and pointed to a great kapok tree, and then he left. The smaller man took the axe he carried and struck the tree trunk. Whack! 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 The sounds of the blows rang through the forest. The wood of the tree was very hard. Chop! 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 The man wiped off the sweat that ran down his face and neck. Whack! Chop! Whack! Chop! Soon the man grew tired. He sat down to rest at the foot of the great kapok tree, and before he knew it, the heat and hum of the forest had lulled him to sleep. A boa constrictor lived in the kapok tree. He slithered down its trunk to where the man was sleeping and looked at the gash the axe had made in the tree. And then the huge snake slid very close to the man's ear and hissed. Senor, this tree is the tree of miracles. It is my home, where generations of my ancestors have lived. Do not chop it down. A bee buzzed in the sleeping man's ear. Senor, my hive is in this kapok tree. And I fly from tree to tree and flower to flower collecting pollen. And then this way I pollinate all the trees and flowers throughout the rainforest. You see, all living things depend on one another. A troop of monkeys scampered down from the canopy of the kapok tree. They chattered to the sleeping man. Senor, we have seen the ways of man. You chop down one tree, then you come back for another and another. The roots of these great trees will wither and die, and there will be nothing left to hold the earth in place. When the heavy rains come, the soil will be washed away, and the forest will become a desert. A toucan, a macaw, and a cock of the rock flew down from the canopy. Senor, squawked the toucan, you must not cut down this tree. We have flown over the forest and seen what happens once you begin to chop down the trees. Many people settle on the land. They set fires to clear the underbrush, and soon the forest disappears. Where once there was life and beauty, only black and smoldering remains. A bright and small tree frog crawled along the edge of the leaf, and in a squeaky voice he piped up into the man's ear. Senor, a ruined rainforest means ruined lives. Many ruined lives. You will leave many of us homeless if you chop down this great tree. A jaguar had been sleeping along a branch in the middle of the tree, and because of his spotted coat, he blended in with the dappled light and shadows of the understory, so no one had noticed him. Now he leapt down and he padded silently over to the sleeping man, and he growled in his ear. Senor, the kapok tree is home to many birds and animals. If you cut it down, where will I find my dinner? 4 tree porcupines swung down from branch to branch and whispered in the man's ear. Senor, do you know what we animals and humans need in order to live? Oxygen. And Senor, do you know what trees produce? Oxygen. If you cut down the forest, you will destroy that which gives us all life. Several anteaters climbed down the kapok tree with their young clinging to their backs. The unstriped anteater said to the sleeping man, Senor, you are chopping down this tree with no thought of the future, and surely you know what happens tomorrow depends upon what you do today. The big man tells you chop down a beautiful tree. He does not think of his own children, who tomorrow must live in a world without trees. A three-toed sloth had begun climbing down from the canopy when the men first appeared. Only now did she reach the ground. Plodding ever so slowly over to the sleeping man, she spoke in her deep and lazy voice. Senor, how much is beauty worth? Can you live without it? If you destroy the beauty of the rainforest, what will you feast your eyes? A child from the Yanomamo tribe who lived in the rainforest knelt over the sleeping man, and he murmured in his ear, Senor, when you awake, please look upon us all with new eyes. The man awoke with a start. Before him stood the rainforest child, and all around him staring were the creatures who depended on the great kapok tree. What wondrous and rare animals they were. The man looked about and saw the sun streaming down the canopy. Spots of bright light glowed like jewels amidst the dark green forest. Strange and beautiful plants seemed to dangle in the air, suspended from the great kapok tree. The man smelled the fragrant perfume of their flowers. He felt the steamy mist rising from the forest floor. But he heard no sound, for the creatures were strangely silent. The man stood up and picked up his axe. He swung it back with his arm as though to strike the tree. Suddenly he stopped. He turned and looked at the animals and the child. He hesitated, and then he dropped his axe and walked out of the rainforest. Do you think the man heard the animals talking to him in his sleep? I think he did. He did the right thing and left the rainforest alone. Today, you get to make your own great kapok tree picture. So you have a green paper in your bag, and you also have some rainforest animals on a strip. And you have some little squares of paper that look like this. And you have a little green piece of tissue paper. Draw your tree, and then decorate it, like something like this. So you see, I drew my tree, and then I used my tissue paper. I tore it up into bits and crumpled it up and glued it on so it looks like little leaves. I used my bright, colorful squares to decorate the top of my tree and the bottom of my rainforest. And then I cut out my animals and decided where would they live in the tree. My sloth is hanging upside down from a branch. My snake is slithering along a branch. My butterfly's up here in the sky. And my flower is growing down here near the ground. So make your own rainforest picture and have lots of fun. Bye.